everybody. We're down here at the Federal Building here in 7th and Mission Street, San Francisco. I've already got a little bit of crowd out here, so we're going to be starting the live stream early. There's a lot of spirited people out here protesting the war or the U.S. intervention in Syria, and we're just getting cracking. So we decided to start early since there's already a crowd, as you can see. So it's kind of more cheering after this morning and being out at Dianne Feinstein's earlier and only managed to get into the fight with the security guard. I know those of you who were watching saw that. But it's all good out here. It's cold. Amazing how much the temperature changes here in San Francisco. This is not the time of day when the wind starts blowing. So I thought I'd start the live stream a little bit earlier so we could fill up an audience, so when the actual festivities went on, we'd actually have some people watching. So give me a second here to get set up. Actually, I fucked up. I wanted to flip it going. That's all right. This Wednesday?
Wednesday, 5 o'clock?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I don't know. I'll check. You know what? I'm sick of going to answer protests.
Yeah. He just
Okay. Outside it says 7 answer
I know, but I don't want, I want to be the wrong place. It's either Powell or Montgomery. I can't decide.
Brisk out here, folks. Here we go. What's her minority leader now in the House of Representatives? This is different than regular video. This is live. So we call it live stream. I have a lot of different websites that mainly Ustream.tv. But I'm going to be moving away from them pretty soon because I'm having problems with them and their server, and some of the files aren't showing up. And they're kind of mad at me because I tell people if they to use AdBlock Plus on their browser,
right,
and they won't get commercials.
Do you pay for your Ustream?
No, I get it for free, but
That's
it doesn't matter.
It's
because if you pay for it, you're not getting any better service than if you don't pay for it. Yeah, they don't like to respond to you when anybody gets problems. So basically, that's why I don't feel like I should upgrade my account and actually set something up myself, which is what I'm doing, and and just take care of my own. Yeah, God, these bullhorns. After the last few days, I'm completely sick of bullhorns. Right? Those commie demonstrations. San Francisco answers. Not that I have anything against their efforts, but they're so much the same. Every protest is always the same. Nothing changes. They have the same ugly signs and the same dumbass speakers, and there's no change in tactics, or it's always a mark. It's just, not that I like discounting that. It has its place in the political arena, but come on, do something a little more interesting. And then the other day it was really hot, and we're all marching. We'd all been in Justin Irving Plaza. It's really hot there, and then we go march all the way down here to Civic Center, and it's 100 degrees out there on the asphalt. And there wasn't one person there with a bottle of water or a thing of water for anybody, right? Yeah. I'm just like, I know a lot of people are been going to demonstrations here in San Francisco, but, I probably know it's going to get after walking a couple of miles, and then there's nobody out there with water. So yeah, this is kind of a MoveOn contacted us 2 days ago about. And we did a social security demonstration on April the 7th, where we actually went up and met with Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, well, this is like a few months ago. And I was over there because Obama was trying to privatize.
With people over this, she just made her decision.
But MoveOn was really good. They really supported me because I had already called for the demonstration, and it just so happened that they wanted to do one too. And we were able to kind of merge our efforts. We had 40,000 signatures that we turned in to Nancy Pelosi's office. Yeah, well, she could give a fuck, but still that shows that as an organization, MoveOn.org has some power. 40,000 people out of 800,000 in this district. That's a pretty good percentage, right?
I was an active file tonight, and I haven't been back with it for years, so maybe I should go back to it.
Well, it doesn't hurt to collect signatures because now you have all these people that you can contact. And I think it would be a good idea for Democrats, like when it's not a part of the city and county of San Francisco Democratic Committee, somebody who's like an outsider from that, Nancy Pelosi, right? And not that you're going to win. Yeah, anyway. Well, the problem with it is that the Democrats are just as bad as the Republicans, right? They're the ones that want this war in Syria so bad, right? So. Yeah, well, I think we should start with the fine side if we're going to get anybody out. Yeah, guys that are watching, let me know if you can hear me. There's a lot of wind out there, and maybe some of it's running through the mic. I appreciate that very much. I'll try and speak as loudly and clearly as possible. At 97th Street, that's the address. For those of you who GPS, 7th and Mission. We're just a few steps away from the Civic Center Bar. If you'd like to come out and join us, we're going to be here until about 6:45, I would imagine. Come out here and say hi. And I always love it when people come down as opposed to watching the live stream. So if you live in San Francisco and you're close by, you don't have any excuse. Come down to the Federal Building and join us as we say no war in Syria. Tell Nancy Pelosi to quit lobbying for war in Syria. Now, this is a very serious issue as far as I'm concerned. I've heard a lot of people say that they're not going to start opposing the war until there's actually boots on the ground. That was one opinion that I heard today, which I entirely disagree with, especially in this era of drones warfare. War's a war for the big deal, in my estimation. It doesn't matter whether the president declares it or whatever happens. So there you go on that one. Thanks a lot for watching. We're going to be here until about 6:45. Right about that. It's kind of chilly out here. Makes me wish San Francisco. It's just like I'll never be sure. So I want to put on another sweater. Now, temperature changes here when you cross the street. So yeah, we're down here at the entrance. Now this building here is just a few years old. Pelosi's office used to be at the old Federal Building at 450 Golden Gate, but I guess she wanted newer digs. And I've been inside this building, and it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like that industrial prison style when I went inside. There's a few pieces of art, but by and large, it's a very Spartan building. They have a weird elevator system on the inside. And so people are starting to show up here. We've got about 20 people. We're here at 97th Street here in mid-market area of San Francisco, south of Market here. We're out here coming in a demonstration sponsored by MoveOn.org. So hopefully we'll have some speakers for that. For those of you just joining us, thank you. refer to my website, activistream.com, activistream.com, activiststream, one word.com. And there'll be more information. Now it looks like we're been told that there's federal property and state property, and the line is right where it is here at. So we'll get a close-up on that. There we go, there's the line. So I guess we're welcome to be on the other side of the line, but we're not welcome to be on this side of the line. And, personally, it's all a bunch of bullshit. These lines, these artificial borders that are being created by the government. As nations of the world, there shouldn't be these artificial lines drawn between people. It should be all one world. We're all living here on the planet together. So, that being said, lots of people are here. Looks like people are pretty active, and they're very spirited. Definitely not sitting here and being quiet. Maybe we'll get some chance going here in a few minutes. We're down here to say to Representative Nancy Pelosi that we do not support a war in Syria. Launching missiles is not appropriate. Killing children is not appropriate. Everybody's seen the video of the sarin gas being used on children. But the United States government, you might think that to be true. That proves a shit. Whoa! Oh, we just had an accident out here in the middle of the street. I think he's more embarrassed than anything. Never a dull moment. He looks to be all right. No road rash. A little bit of road rash on your elbow.
I see that. You need to get training wheels.
Yeah, well. The crowd gets a little bit bigger. Woo-hoo. A little more drama, a little more excitement here. Somebody in the car. We got Univision down here taking pictures. Well, personally, I had a lot of signature gathering that's been going on. Make sure you call the White House before 5 p.m. if you're calling between the hours of 9 a.m. 5 p.m. The number's 202-456-1111. That's the White House number. Give them a call. Tell them you don't support the war in Syria. You don't want the United States to intervene in Syria's affairs. Personally, I believe that this little war here could easily expand and become another World War III, given the volatile situation in the Middle East. And it's my understanding politically that the Saudis and the Israelis are the ones that are really pushing for war down here. Like I said, never a dull moment. So the crowd keeps going. The line's getting a little bit longer. We're stretching out a little bit more. And so this is good. Just want to tell people don't trust liberal organizations. They will sell you out and sell you down the road sooner or later. At least that's been my experience. But at any rate, we're all against the war here, and that's why we're down here. And we're down here. You're in San Francisco. We're at 97th Street. That's between 7th Street, between Market and Mission. Accessible by BART.
They're not convinced at all. Just like they weren't convinced at lockdown. And as I heard about supporting
No hostile people today, at least. We were down at Market in Montgomery the other day. I was actually quite surprised by the number of hostile people that actually supported the war. Credo's giving some money to this demonstration too. You know, and I can't say I can't. You know, I would say if you just have a 3G account, that you might want to try. But the problem is they only offer 3G live streamer. You know, I need a 4G connectivity when I'm connected to the internet, and 3G is just simply not fast enough to broadcast my signal. So if you're not going to live stream, I'd say Credo Mobile, but if you're a live streamer here in San Francisco, what's up with all the damn, you know, fire trucks? Good Lord. You know, those things, you know, we live in constant noise pollution here all the time. That you guys are watching. We're going to be here until about 6:45, and there might be technical difficulties during this live stream. So if I do drop off without signing off, that means I will be back. So unless I sign off, when I sign off, that's the very end. Well, some people move out to the sidewalk. We're down here. We're saying no war to Syria, no war in Syria, to Representative Nancy Pelosi, the House Minority Leader. She seems to be one of the leading warmongers in Congress right now, trying to get her Democratic colleagues to vote yes to bomb Syria, which people out here, and myself included, are against. If you want to call the White House and voice your disapproval, the number is 202-456-1111. You could do that between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So I remind you to do that. The number again to call the White House is 202-456-1111. Tell the president that you don't think cruise missiles are going to stop the war in Syria. That's basically what he wants to do. That's the plan, is to launch missiles there, which are generally, I don't care how well targeted they are, they're, you know, what the military calls collateral damage. What that means to you and I is that innocent civilians will be killed. That's putting it bluntly. We're not going to use polite terminology on this live stream because war is a brutal business. People die. There's blood everywhere and guts and all that kind of stuff. And most Americans are not used to seeing it. That's for sure. But this has become a daily way of life in Syria and some of the towns there, like Homs and Damascus. At villages there's been Christians that have been murdered, right? So which side actually in Syria? There's all different kinds of sides. And if the United States gets involved, they're going to be involved with Al-Qaeda, right? Here we are, you know, the United States is supposed to be at war with Al-Qaeda, and yet they're supplying arms to Al-Qaeda rebels in Syria. So where is the logic to all this? You know, our government is not consistent in one way or the other. And now they want to go under the pretext that there was an attack with nerve gas, and they're using videos that we've been unable to independently verify about which side, one way or another, is actually using nerve gas to civilians there. So that's the way it goes. And where the ball bounces, nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on. And we all do. One thing you can be certain is that innocent people will die in Syria, one side or another. Right, during war, that is the only certainty, is that people are going to die. So we are against war and all principles about war here at my live stream, Freeman Sullivan. And you know, I'm trying to cover all these protests, as many as I can. It's been a busy weekend. Hopefully it's going to be a real busy week, and people are going to come out and speak out against the war. We encourage you to do so. There's a website called indiebay.org that's really good for checking on demonstrations about what is happening here in the Bay Area, indiebay.org. Check that out. You can check out my website, activiststream.com. Also today, if you're in Berkeley, there is a Berkeley Post Office General Assembly held on the steps there at 2000 Austin Way, 1 block from Bard. That starts at 6 p.m. and they want to figure what their next steps are that it's going to take to keep the Berkeley Post Office open. So let your friends and neighbors in the East Bay know about that. More and more people are showing up here. Give you a little insight here about what's going on. Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's at @FreemanSullivan. You can stay up to date, or you can just sign up and be a follower here on Ustream. Just to let you know that I'm going to be ceasing my Ustream service here pretty soon. And if you're tired of those HD videos fucking up the broadcast, I suggest downloading a program. If you have Firefox or Chrome, there's a program called AdBlock Plus, and that blocks out the Ustream ads and only shows the live stream. Now, why would I do this when I'm getting bandwidth for free from them? Well, basically it's because they offer virtually no support on the files. If they lose them, then it's your fault. Also, by paying, you don't get any better service. So there you go. We're here, and we're definitely in anticipation of the president's address tomorrow night at 6 p.m. about the war in Syria. He's going to be making his case to start a war, and I'm wondering if there's going to be time for an equal and opposite opinion to be said after the war, although it probably is going to be some Republican hack. Not too happy with either parties, Democrats, Republicans, they're all full of shit. Oops, excuse my language. But, you know, bottom line, that's the way it is. So we should be starting pretty soon. Oh, you know, I left my freaking telephone at home. Yep. Left my phone at home, oh well. Let me check my bag here, folks. I always like to have a backup. I don't think I'll need it today, but I thought I brought my phone with me. Second. Put it in the bag here. I probably left it lying on my desk at home. Grab my phone, oh well. So we'll just be using the camera for live stream. I do have 3 backup batteries, so we'll be able to stay up for quite a while. And if you're watching, log on to the social stream and let me know what's going on. We're starting to get more and more of a crowd here. It's building up. So people are showing up in support of no war in Syria. That's the hashtag if you're tweeting it out. Lots of concerned citizens. As you can see, we've got about 50 people here now, so the crowd is growing. This demonstration was mobilized by MoveOn.org. Check out their website. They're a liberal group, but they do a lot of activism. So that's important. Yeah, I left my phone at home. Oh, this poor lady walking down the street, and this poor guy, they're home, and this is indicative. We got money for bombs and wars, but we don't have money to house homeless people, right? Like I said, 50% of the people on the street are veterans. And if the United States goes to war with Syria, guess where those veterans are going to end up? Right out on the street. Right over there. Did you get me one of those too?
Yeah.
I want to put one away. I'm doing a live stream and I can't hold it, but I want to bring one home. Put it up on the wall. help me, which generally I don't like to have an assistant. I just like to do it myself. Cardboard's kind of stiff. That should hang out. There you go. Closer. Really windy out here, folks. Wind's blowing about 30 miles an hour off the top of this building. We got a good crowd out here. We could always use more people, though. That's for sure. I guess 6 in 10 Americans are against the war in Syria, according to the latest polling. 8 in 10 think that Bashar Assad is the one responsible for the chemical attack. So those are your latest poll numbers. Glad for the new people that are watching. You know, I don't go after the big numbers online here, folks. I'm not actually out here trying to get millions of people to watch. I'm just out here to document the truth. And whether you like it or not is your thing. It's not me. I'm not going to go ahead and kowtow to people's interest or anything like that, because I'm me and I'm the person who I am. And so ratings and all that other crap is a bunch of crap. So I'm not going to be big on the numbers game, and I never will be. It's not about ego gratification, but you know, I like to make the message spread out to as many people as possible. And I'm very much dedicated to this. So keep following me, and things will get, you know, we'll offer you all the latest in political demonstrations here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Lots of reporters down here. I haven't seen two down here yet. We've had Univision and Channel 4, I think, or no, Channel 7. And I noticed one of the reporters, he's writing, he's one of the AP stringers. So we got a few people down here reporting, besides myself. These videos are archived on a number of different places, because I try to spread them out. You'll find some on Vimeo. The major bulk of them are going to be on YouTube, and my YouTube channel is youtube.com/channel/FreemanSullivan.
Welcome, everybody.
We're getting ready to start the protest.
Oh, you're gonna have to speak a lot louder than that.
Can folks kind of work their way in this direction? Can everybody in the back hear me? Attention, attention. It is now the beginning of this vigil, and I'd like to introduce somebody here. It's Charles Davidson from the East Bay chapter of MoveOn.org, the East Bay Council. And we're going to get started.
Excuse me there, brother.
Stalling while it gets a little bit quieter. And the wind is stopping, everything's nice is starting to happen. And here's Charles Davidson. Hey, Charlie.
Well, I gotta get out my press pass.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up here. This is a very important time that people can come together. At times of war, it's very, very important for people to come together, because there might be maybe 50 or 100 people here, but today we delivered 300,000 petitions to former Speaker Pelosi.
Yeah.
And I hope it stays that way. I'm tired of really important issues being taken off the table. War and peace it's not an issue that needs to be taken off the table. It needs to be really discussed and vetted. We're going to war right now for reasons that we're really not sure about. We're hearing all kinds of stories. We hear stories from the administration, and we also hear stories from other people. But part of the problem is that the United States has been supporting a group of Syrian rebels that are linked with Al-Qaeda. So now, who are we to believe? And so we're going off to war right now. The sabers are rattling, and I think we're very much in trouble here. And so it's very important that we do get together, because today there might be 100, but we need 100,000 and millions. And so I wanted to read a little statement here. So if you could be with me for just a moment. We're here today because as we speak, our nation is on the verge of authorizing airstrikes against Syria. If Congress decides to to allow this bombing, we may find ourselves entering a very slippery slope, because what may start as a limited military intervention has the potential to devolve into another war in the Middle East. Though unspeakable atrocities have occurred in the 2-year-long Syrian civil war, that doesn't justify U.S. military intervention, which could lead to more bloodshed. With no clear exit strategy, U.S. military action could have unintended consequences. It could destabilize the situation and worsen the conflict, forcing us deeper into this quagmire. The administration continues to say it is not seeking authorization for war, but in the last week and a half, Secretary of State John Kerry has waffled on whether there would be boots on the ground, and we're now hearing about a no-fly zone and the training of rebel forces, which has already been going on anyways. And as of last week, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee seems to be considering an outright goal of regime change. The risk that this intervention will spiral out of control is precisely why these airstrikes have to be stopped before they begin. Thank you for listening. I'm going to pass the microphone to Lawrence Abbott from MoveOn.org.
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here. And I'm curious where you guys are all from. If you guys heard about this through MoveOn.org, please raise your hand. Welcome, MoveOn. Welcome. How about if you heard about it through Credo? Credo's a partner in peace here. All right, Credo. How about Code Pink? Code Pink's been helping. And also the Progressive Change campaign. So this is a big coalition, and these rallies are going on all around the country. We have thousands of people working with this. So thank you so much for standing up for what's really important and what you believe in. On the eve of President Obama's primetime speech about his plans for Syria, we're here to demonstrate that we won't be won over by rhetoric. To be clear, we're here tonight holding this vigil to stand in firm opposition to launch.
I see to get the fire alarms.
We're here to stand in firm opposition to launching airstrikes against Syria, but we're also here tonight because we know we can stop this intervention. I just got an email from MoveOn about an hour ago that the tide is changing. There were about 200 congressmen that are against bombing, and if there was a vote right now, we win. Peace would win. But we're not going to kick back. We're going to up the heat, and we're going to stay in the streets, and we're going to keep showing up until we do win. Amen. That's why we're standing in solidarity tonight. We're going to continue our calls, our petitions, and every other effort it takes to stop these strikes against Syria. Now we're going to take a moment of silence for the lives that have already been lost in Syria and for all the lives that may be lost. Thank you. Now we're going to start with the speaker series. We have a few speakers, and I'm going to invite other people that want to say a few words. Please keep your comments to a minute or two if you can. And the very first speaker we have, I'm going to pass the microphone. Okay. So our first speaker is Rick Hauptman. Rick, are you here? I see Rick to my left. And he's with MoveOn.org, and he's active in San Francisco, working for positive change.
It's actually raining out here, folks.
Hi, my name is Rick Hauptman. I'm with MoveOn.org, San Francisco. And last year I was...
Yeah, that microphone's not working properly.
Come really close if you can. We can come a lot
Is
closer.
this better? Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
No? Okay. Last year I was delighted to be an elected delegate to the Democratic Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was delighted to support the re-election of Barack Obama because
Got a better one. There we go. Yeah, that one needs new batteries.
is that better? Can you
Much better.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, my name is Rick Houghton, MoveOn San Francisco Council. Last year, I was a delegate to the Democratic Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was delighted to support Barack Obama's re-election, especially against that melodious Mitt Romney. However, today I'm here to tell the president, as one of his elected delegates, and to tell my friend Nancy Pelosi, don't bomb Syria. No Syria. We already we're still engaged in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we're going into yet a third Middle East country. No war on Syria. Don't bomb Syria. Thank you for being here.
I'd like to let you all know that a few of us were here at 5 o'clock and we did a petition drop-off for Credo.org and for MoveOn.org, and we gave them 60,000 signatures from Credo to not bomb, and about 5,000 signatures from MoveOn that were gathered just in the last few days. Next, I'd like to introduce Ted Lewis, the Global Change Human Rights Director.
Thank you very much. It's great to see everybody out here today. It is good to see everybody out here, but it's hard to see us when we're seeing our country once again on the verge of war. I have found this particular issue with Syria a very difficult one, a gut-wrenching one, and I imagine that most of us here have. I just spent some time speaking with the folks in back of us who are urging intervention, and I think there's a very serious debate that has to happen here about what needs to happen in Syria. But in thinking about it, and thinking about my own experience on the ground in Syria, the Syrian people I know, I feel deeply torn, but it's become ever more clear to me that the United States does not have a role in militarily intervening in this civil war, and that it would be a terrible mistake for our country to do it. It's very hard for me to watch our president, who was the brave, lone member of the Illinois state legislature who stood up against the Iraq war and spoke out. It's hard for me to see John Kerry, who was an anti-war activist and understood the dangers of U.S. intervention, and in his own campaign for the presidency made the case that George Bush had rushed to war. That's exactly what we're doing here again. It's a terrible mistake. We need to debate this issue. People in this country need to understand what the stakes are, and we've got to stand up for no U.S. intervention in Syria's civil war. As painful and difficult as it is, this is when we need to stand out. If the U.S. does not have the moral standing in the region, we don't have a strategy, and there's simply no good reason to do this other than a feeling of vengeance for the terrible things that have happened. I don't have any real issue or doubt that the Assad regime has carried out horrific acts against people from the very start of the uprising, but this is not the way to handle it. We've got to come up with something better. I sincerely hope that the effort that John Kerry inadvertently started by saying that he would be open to Assad turning over his weapons to international body, I hope that that can be an outcome, and that the way that there can be actual negotiations and international intervention to bring about a solution, not to bring about a deepened war. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you. Next, we have Sarah Lane from Credo.
Hey y'all, I'm Sarah Lane. I just want to thank you all for coming out. We just went up and delivered over 200,000 signatures from Credo actives across the country to Leader Pelosi's office, urging her to vote against urging her to vote against giving the president authorization to bomb Syria. We're urging Congress and Leader Pelosi to say no to bombing Syria and blocking Obama from doing this. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Sarah. Next we have Dorothy Santos from Affirm, Women of Syria.
Hello, my name is Dorothy Santos and I'm speaking on behalf of Affirm, the Association of Filipino Feminists Fighting Imperialism, Refeudalization, and Marginalization. We, the Women of Affirm, a transnational feminist organization, stand with the women of Syria. Across the country, we stand in solidarity with our Syrian sisters as Congress may vote to authorize the use of military force. We know that a war and armed conflict was never brought women's liberation. As women of color, we send a message to you, Pelosi, that when you side with Republican warmongers and say it is our national interest to respond, you do not speak for us. 90,000 women and children are displaced in refugee camps along the Syrian-Jordanian border. That's 2/3 of the refugees. Women and children who are fleeing torture and sexual violence. As transnational women, we know that mass rape is a tool of war, that our bodies are the battlefield. We have read the reports that over 40% of the rapes are gang rapes used to destroy Syrian families, to destroy the spirit of the rebellion. We've heard in nearly every account as we women and young girls are raped, militiamen shout, "You want your freedom? And this is what you get for your freedom." This is Bosnia all over again. We remember Bosnia. We remember Iraq. We remember Afghanistan. We will not forget the detention and daily rape of Alma Abdulrahman. We stand with Alma. We have to share this with the entire world to show that women are fighters, Alma says. The Arab women are very strong, and all she needs is just a little freedom. U.S. militarism has never saved women, and U.S. bombs will not buy their freedom. As CIA-trained Syrian rebel cells are launched this week, Pelosi, your 5th letter to House Dems supporting a U.S. strike does not protect women-led households in refugee camps from roving gangs of male predators. Your words of war do not protect from the mass rape so frequently that child brides are being married off at age 14. And you do not protect the many young teenage girls who are having babies from rape and older husbands in the camps. A U.S. strike does not protect the 13 babies born mostly to teenage girls at Satari refugee camp. We are fed up with your lies. We, the women of Affirm, know the real reason for U.S. militarism in Syria, Israel. Oil and war profiteers, Genie Israel Holdings, which oversees Genie Oil and Gas, has illegally granted oil exploration in Syria's Golan Heights. Golan Heights is occupied by Israel, just like Palestine. Rupert Murdoch is a major shareholder, a part owner of Genie Energy. Dick Cheney is on the company's advisory board. Bombing Syria is about protecting profits, not people. And we echo the words of Syrian women who confronted John McCain at a town hall only 3 days ago. Unfortunately, you and so many in the Senate are just considering us as collateral damages, and I refuse to believe that. Heed the voices of transnational women. We will not back down. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dorothy. I'd like everybody to come in a little bit closer if you could, so you can hear a little better. And I'm expecting a speaker from either Veterans for Peace or Progressive Democrats of America. Is there a speaker here from either of those two organizations? We had a veterans group that wanted to speak, and I think they couldn't make it. So I'm going to invite anybody that wants to say just a few words, but if you keep it to a minute or so, and then we're going to light a candle or a few candles, even though it's windy. And then Charles is going to wrap it up. But before we get into any of that, I want to thank everybody again, because these events are so important, and you people represent the tiniest fraction of 1% of the people that believe the way we do. But your commitment is just a little bit higher, where you're willing to get up on a cold San Francisco day with big raindrops falling. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's not the building.
And you guys got a really warm heart. and you're keeping me warm, and I dress for the East Bay. So I guess we don't have any. Yeah, we have a counter opinion. So be really respectful. They just get a minute or so because that's not what this rally's about. But in the interest of being as open as possible and as open-minded as possible, even though we all believe in peace, let's give 1 minute here.
Hey, hi. I want to thank you guys for giving me the time. My name is Rami Beylouni. I'm a physician here, and I'm also my parents are from Syria, and I've been involved in this for the last 2.5 years, and I've seen it, unfold for the last 2.5 years. And I want to remind you guys all that this started as a democratic, peaceful resistance to Assad, and he's responded by slaughtering our people. And the opposition has responded in multiple ways to try to negotiate or try other methods, of which none have worked. And so while I understand that what President Obama right now he's not obviously proposing anything that would give an end to this situation, I just want to ask you guys that for the amount of energy that you guys have put into coming out here to oppose that, if you could please put that energy into stopping this humanitarian crisis. And I just want you to remember that inaction causes more violence, and the fact that as a United States and as a country and as a people, we've been inactive towards this humanitarian crisis from day one has caused more and more deaths. And we all personally know people who die, and we see the videos every day. And so I just ask you guys for the same amount of energy that you put into this rally and you put into this organization, which I respect so much, that you guys put that same energy into helping the children and women out there and helping this come to an end. Because if you just stop Obama from doing something here, I promise you, Assad's going to come out and he's going to slaughter us all, and he's going to start by bombing my hometown and as well as everyone out there's hometown. And we all know this. And after every time that Assad has come out and used chemical weapons and he's seen no reaction, he's come out further with more and more strength. And so I just ask you guys, please, after you guys rally here, that you also use the time to help the Syrian people, and at least you donate to the people trying to help the refugees, and you go from there. Thank you.
While we agree the Assad regime is brutal, we don't think the launching.
So MoveOn polled its members before they decided to get behind this effort, and well over 80% of its members wanted to do this and not have any strikes against Syria, not bomb Syria. And at the same time that they polled their members, they asked for comments from their members, why they feel the way that they feel. So I'm going to read just a couple of them. There is no good reason to go to war against the people of Syria. War will not teach anyone a lesson and will bring death, destruction, and pain to the people of Syria, neighboring countries in the Mideast, as well as spend millions of dollars we can't afford. There's no such thing as a limited war. That's Connie in New York. I'll do one more. How will we punish Syria for using chemical weapons on their own people? By killing more people? By getting so involved that we will have boots on the ground? Did we learn nothing from Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan? Do we not see our own military returning home, often wounded mentally as well as physically? It's easy to go to war. It isn't always easy to get those boots home. Anne from Massachusetts. So please come close. If anybody has a candle you'd like to light, please do it at this time. And then Charlie's going to wrap it up. And we're going to invite you all to come to another rally if you have the energy down by the ferry building that starts as soon as this one ends with Credo, about another 100 people over there, for anybody that wants to double their impact tonight. Because we are having a huge impact. This is going on all across the country. So please come in close. If anybody has a candle you want to light, we'll have a moment of silence, and then Charlie will wrap it up.
Okay, while you're lighting your candles, I want you to think about Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock. We're going to be here Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock.
It's going to be 11 o'clock in D.C. We think that the Senate might be voting on Wednesday. There are people willing to do civil resistance, but we need people here who are willing to support us doing civil resistance. People are willing to get arrested to end this war. So please seriously think about coming here 8 o'clock Wednesday morning. Seriously think about putting this on every single one of your lists. There are only 10 people here this morning. We need to have 100 people or 20 people. Thank you.
Have one, please.
You should throw something on it. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Can you make it, do you think?
I'll be down here live streaming.
Okay, good. Yay, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
So anyways,
There you go. That'll be another live stream.
hopefully this immediate problem will be resolved soon.
So we'll be here live streaming.
Unlikely not.
8 a.m. We'll be right here at 7.
One thing we have to be careful about is the administration and the Democratic Party has taken an attitude of humanitarian interventions, and there's a problem with that.
Yeah,
is
we know it's
because
gonna be anything.
a lot of times we make pacts with the devil to try to do something that apparently seems like the right thing to do, and we end up doing exactly the opposite of what we intended on. And wars tend to be about unintended consequences. There's a number of former military and intelligence professionals for peace who are standing up against this effort right now to bomb Syria. Their statement is there is a total lack of evidence that points to the Assad administration as definitively starting the gas attack. Right now we do not know who started the gas attack.
Sorry about that.
There's questions from both sides who started the gas attack. Within the rebel groups themselves, there are people who do not want U.S. intervention in terms of military intervention right now. This is a moment for diplomacy. This is a moment for getting the facts straight. We know what happens when the facts are not straight and the bombs start dropping. We know that hundreds of thousands of more people will die. So let us not rush into war. Let's stop the administration. Let's stop the warmongers in Congress from pressing the button and pulling the trigger. Now is the time to think straight. The guns of August are over, but we need the moment of peace right now, and a moment of reflection, and a moment of finding out what is true. So thank you very much for coming, and I think if people can make it down to the ferry building, there should be some people down there, and hopefully we don't have to keep coming back 100 times, but if we do, hopefully there'll be 10 times as many people. Thank you very much for coming.
Right. Definitely there's going to be protests tomorrow, I do know about there, for people that are watching. I'm definitely going to be going to any of the protests. If you hear about anything, good website to check out. We're here in the Bay Area is indiebay.org. They generally have a pretty comprehensive list of demonstrations. You might want to go